Hello again, it's Natsuya. We're back on our finding self, light, and little adventure in ADHD, reclaiming your boundaries, reclaiming who you are. And we were reading from the Bhagavad-gita. And again, I'm wearing my Victor sweater, so we're going to be wearing this for this video and one more. But right now, we are going to be reading from chapter 6, Religion by Self-Restraint. So a couple weeks ago, I got the Bhagavad Gita in my head and had to run around and go find the book because I've had it. This is actually my freshman college book. And so I've had it for a long time, and it was buried with a whole bunch of other books. So I finally found it, and I have been doing research and looking at it. So I wanted to share that a little bit with you. And so the second passage from Religion by Restraint chapter, we are going to look at the self, because I think that's important. And yeah, I just wanted to share it with you. Again, I'm nobody, so you want to click off and turn it off, okay. But, I want to share. So, and I thought it might help somebody, because I know it helped me. So, okay, let's go. So, and you can see I'm wearing the glasses because the print is small. I usually don't wear them, and so whatever, we'll deal with it for now. Okay. Let each man rise, the self by soul, not trample down his self, since soul that is self-friend may grow self-foe. Soul is self-friend when self doth rule over self, but self turns enemy. If soul's own self hates self as not itself. So yeah, I wanted to share that today because I think that's important. And I know that we were talking a little bit before about identity and ADHD, Asperger's, hearing all the time all this criticism, and then you hear a bunch of negativity, and then you think you're bad and you're negative. Well, no, this is maybe something that, is a weakness of yours, but that doesn't define who you are. You're more than that. You're not just ADHD. You're not just autism. You may be an artist, a writer, a cook, a parent, a truck driver, barista, a cashier, an engineer, a manager. Those are all part of you too. I mean, you may be a poet. You may like green. You may like chocolate cake. Those are all part of you. You're not just, well, you did that wrong. You lost your keys. You're ADHD. That's small. Okay? And so hearing a bunch of no, wrong, you're bad, you kind of forget who you really are. So, yeah. So I shared that part of the Bhagavad Gita, and there's a whole bunch of great information in the book. So if you ever get a chance to go read it, it is very enlightening, and I know it has been enlightening for me. So anyway, the passage I wrote was about the self, and understanding that yourself can become your worst enemy because you are closest to you. And so, yeah, the outside world can affect how you see yourself. You can be depressed or anxious, or something, is affecting you, or people telling you all the time that you're horrible, or I don't know, I don't like you today because you're wearing an orange Victor sweater. You don't usually do that, so it's weird, I don't like it. Okay, so I don't know. The universe told me to put on the Victor sweater, so I'm wearing it. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So if you've taken a bunch of negativity that's not yours, it may be a energy vampire, has nothing to do with you, and they're just all about stealing your energy. Or you could have something that, I don't like my hands. My hands are too big. I'm just picking a random example. And that ends up defining you, and you keep looking at that particular thing about you, and then your whole image of who you are goes around, well, I don't like my hands. Okay, so that's one thing, but that's not everything, but if you get blinded by that and that becomes the one thing that repeats in your head like a rumination, well, I'm horrible because my hands are too big, um, you know, then you lose track of your identity and become, my hands are too big, and that becomes the one thing that, you focus on and you forget to, well, you just detailed a car or you sold a painting for $5,000 at your first gallery show, or you got a new job or a new car, well, those are you too. Those are accomplishments too. But if you're sitting here like, my hands are too big and that's all I can do, I'm just terrible, then you got this warped sense of self. And like in the passage I read in the Bhagavad-gita, yourself can be your worst enemy, and it can become your foe if you've let it. But in the last video, we looked at truth. And so if you understand your truth and are willing to sit in it and understand it and look at the things that scare you or you need to work on or you don't like, and embrace that because that is a part of you. And if you run away from your shadow, it's going to come back and bite you either in your dreams, in your nightmares, or start acting out your 5-year-old inner child in a most inappropriate way while you're in a coffee shop, and that's going to cause a problem. So yeah, you have to do your shadow work when you're ready, however much time it takes. But yeah, going back to the self, you can become your greatest foe. And a lot of times that does have to do with shadow or something that you've pushed so far down into your unconscious that you don't even want to deal with it. It will rear its ugly head. You'll know it when it shows up. But yeah, and so one of the things that I know that, I can be my worst enemy a lot of the time. And sometimes, I can go into a spin. I don't know, a couple months ago, I went into a spin, just circling over and over like an ADHD rumination. I just could not get out of it, and a lot of it was negative self-talk that was not even accurate, but I'd heard it so many times over and over again that, pounding in your head, that's all you hear, you're gonna start believing it after a while, unless you have other people to check the silly, or you can step outside of the negative self-talk spiral long enough to look in and see your hands are not too big. Okay, and then you're faced with the truth, and then you can help reshape the narrative and change that self-talk into something that's a little bit more positive. It takes some time. Everybody has a struggle of one type or another. There's nobody perfect. Okay, I'm definitely not perfect. I got a whole bunch of flaws all over the place. Whatever, truth. But yeah, we can be our worst enemy, and if you're eventually going to have to deal with it, and but as long as you're willing to do the work and actually sit in silence for 5 minutes, and say, hey, let me actually look at my hands. Maybe get out a measuring tape or take pictures of them and compare them to other hands of other people, and then maybe you'll realize, my hands really aren't that big, they're okay. I can sit with that for 5 seconds and get to understand, okay, you got piano fingers, okay? But yeah, because you played piano for like 900 years, all growing up and forever else, piano competitions. But yeah, so you have strong fingers. You played the piano. Maybe that's why, your hands are larger. But that's not a bad thing. It's something that you've cultivated, that you have learned, that you became good at. It is a skill, okay? And you should be proud of that, because I can tell you, every now and then, like when you're 12, you're gonna get pissed off at your piano teacher, okay? And That's a long story. Whatever. Maybe we'll get into it sometime. But yeah, eventually, you know, you're gonna get a little pissed because it's quite grueling to practice for piano competitions, you know? And a teenager, after a while, you know, go practice, go practice. Yeah, you're gonna yell at somebody. But, okay, anyway, your hands are not too big, you know? That thing that you hate about yourself, whatever, eventually, it's part of you, part of the shadow. You're gonna have to come to terms with it. You know, we all push things down, try to hide it away, you know, but hey, we're human, you know. But, like the Bhagavadgita says, we are our worst enemy. And yeah, we may have enemies outside of ourselves too, you know. You can avoid them, you can make up with them, you can walk away from them. If they're narcissists, don't make up with them. If they're psychopaths, walk away as fast as you can. You know, don't run. I think there was this, just a statement, you know, I don't remember what it is, you know, if, it's a vampire movie or something, you know, supernatural creature comes up to you and, like, you get scared, you run away, they're gonna get you faster if you run away, so don't run. Walk slowly, don't let the narcissist know that you're leaving, because they'll come after you, and oops, that's a bad deal. And definitely don't unmask them to their face. You can do that from far away. But yeah, narcissistic energy vampires, stay away from them. But yeah, your hands are not too big. They're a part of you. And you're beautiful just the way you are. So don't let yourself become your biggest enemy. And that was something that definitely I had to learn. You know, and I had to do my shadow work, and I'm still not done with it. But hey, we all do what we need to do in our own due time. And the only reason I wanted to share this with you because it was something experience that I had, thought maybe it would help somebody. You know, if not, okay, well, I got to wear the Victor sweater. I haven't worn in years. So, thank you, Victor. And yeah, he didn't like oil paint. I don't like oil paint. But I have many paintings. So, okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed the Victor sweater. One more video. You get to see it one more time. But yeah, peace.